Welcome to the English Clarity Cast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Clarity Cast, your go-to podcast for mastering English through effective techniques. I'm James.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful methods to improve your fluency, shadowing. We'll discuss how it works and how you can get started.
So, let's begin with a detailed look at the shadowing technique and how it can help you speak more naturally.
Shadowing involves listening to native speakers and repeating what they say in real time, almost simultaneously. It helps improve your pronunciation, intonation, and understanding.
Exactly. It's like practicing speaking and listening at the same time. The key is consistency. Doing a little each day can make a big difference.
You'll also notice improvements in your rhythm and flow as you mimic native speakers. That's why it's so effective for building natural speech patterns.
That's a great starting point. If you're curious to see shadowing in action, we have a special segment today.
That's right. Emily has prepared a story that we'll use for shadowing practice. Listening to a story can be a fun way to practice your voice and comprehension.
So, get comfortable and let's listen carefully as Emily reads the story. Remember to try repeating after her, mimicking her pronunciation and intonation.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. Today, I'll be reading a short story called A Day at the Cafe, perfect for shadowing practice. Try to repeat after me immediately like an echo. This trains your brain to think and speak faster. Pay attention to my pacing, tone, and natural flow. Let's begin. It was a warm and sunny Sunday day. Sarah had no particular plans for the day, which was exactly how she liked it. After finishing her morning chores and watering her small balcony garden, she decided to go for a walk downtown. She didn't have a destination in mind, just the desire to get out, breathe some fresh air, and maybe enjoy a nice cup of coffee. As she strolled through the quiet streets, she noticed how the sunlight danced between the leaves of the trees. Everything seemed peaceful. When she reached Maple Street, she smiled. At the corner stood her favorite cafe, Maple Street Coffee, with its deep green awnings and small tables outside, each with a flower in a glass jar. The scent of roasted coffee beans drifted out into the street, and it instantly lifted her spirits. Without hesitation, she stepped inside. The cafe was just as she remembered. Warm lighting, wooden furniture, and shelves filled with books and plants. A soft indie song played in the background. The barista behind the counter looked up and greeted her with a cheerful smile. Hi there. What can I get for you today? Sarah looked at the chalkboard menu, though she already knew what she wanted. I'll have an iced Americano, please, and one of those chocolate croissants. Excellent choice, the barista said as he rang her up. Without hesitation, she stepped inside. The cafe was just as she remembered. Warm lighting, wooden furniture, and shelves filled with books and plants. A soft indie song played in the background. The barista behind the counter looked up and greeted her with a cheerful smile. Hi there. What can I get for you today? Sarah looked at the chalkboard menu, though she already knew what she wanted. I'll have an iced Americano, please, and one of those chocolate croissants. Excellent choice, the barista said as he rang her up. She paid and looked around for a place to sit. There was a cozy spot near the back by a window, where a shaft of sunlight lit up the table just right. She settled in, placed her bag beside her, and pulled out her phone. After taking a sip of her coffee, she texted her cousin Ben. At Maple Street Coffee. Come by if you're free. She didn't expect an immediate reply, so she put her phone down and took a bite of her croissant. It was warm, flaky, and filled with just the right amount of rich chocolate. The combination of flavors and the atmosphere around her made her sigh with contentment. As she sat enjoying the quiet moment, she observed the people around her. A couple nearby was sharing a slice of cake and laughing quietly. At another table, a young girl was drawing in a sketchpad while her dad typed on his laptop. The cafe felt like a small world where everyone had their own story unfolding at the same time. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was Ben. Perfect timing. I'm nearby, be there in 10. Sarah smiled. She and Ben had grown up together and stayed close even as life got busier. They didn't get to meet as often as they used to, but when they did, it was always easy and fun. A little while later, the door opened, and she saw Ben walking in, slightly out of breath but smiling. There you are, he said, spotting her right away. Over here. Sarah waved. Ben ordered a cappuccino and a blueberry scone, then joined her at the table. It's so good to see you, Sarah said as he sat down. You too. This place is great. How have I never been here before? Ben asked. I've told you about it like 3 times. Sarah teased. Okay, you were right. It's charming. They both laughed. They spent the next hour catching up. Ben told her about work, his new manager, and a weekend hiking trip he was planning. Sarah shared updates about her freelance projects and a book she had started reading but hadn't finished yet. Oh, speaking of books, Sarah said, pulling a small novel from her bag. I brought this in case I got bored. You'd actually like it. It's a mystery set in an old bookstore. Ben raised an eyebrow. That sounds exactly like something I'd read. Can I borrow it when you're done? Of course, she said, passing it across the table for him to check out. Their drinks slowly disappeared, and so did their pastries. At one point, a soft breeze blew through the open door, carrying the scent of fresh flowers from the flower shop next door. As the afternoon stretched on, Ben leaned back in his chair. This was nice. I didn't realize how much I needed a break. Same here, Sarah agreed. It's easy to get caught up in work and everything else. Days like this remind me how important it is to slow down. Ben nodded. So, want to keep the day going? Maybe grab a late lunch somewhere. Sarah smiled. That sounds perfect. There's a new little place near the park I've been wanting to try. It's supposed to have really good sandwiches. I'm in, Ben said, grabbing his cup and standing up. As they left the cafe together, Sarah glanced back at the little corner where she'd been sitting earlier. It was already occupied by someone new, a young man typing away on a laptop, a half-finished coffee beside him. She thought about how every visit to that cafe was different, and yet always familiar. A place where strangers became friends, where ordinary afternoons turned into warm memories. Walking beside Ben, she felt grateful for the day. Not just for the coffee or the delicious croissant, but for the feeling of being present, relaxed, and connected. With a full heart and a light step, Sarah headed toward the next adventure: lunch, laughter, and whatever the rest of the day would bring.
Great job. How do you feel about today's lesson?
Remember, consistent practice with shadowing can boost your fluency faster than you might think.
Thanks for joining us today on the English Clarity Cast. Don't forget to practice every day, and we'll see you next time for more tips and stories.
Until then, keep practicing, stay motivated, and enjoy your journey to English mastery.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next episode, take care and keep listening.